I have a lot of really high anxiety, social anxiety, especially around people. You know, I shut down at a really young age. I shut down because of judgment. I was bullied. I never really had a stable life. Parents divorced when I was young. I moved around, quite a bit. So, friends and things like that, they came and went. You know, I mean, even today it breaks my heart thinking of one of my very first friends when I was a child in Montana, when I first moved to Montana. The first person I met. And, I still think about those moments, when I'm 6 or 7 years old, or however old I was when I moved back there. I was getting into kindergarten, first grade, all that. But yeah, it's I shut down as a young kid. I mean, there's other experiences that led up to it. A lot of it was I didn't have a lot of belief in me. There was not a lot of people who believed in me. I experienced something that was all in my head, or me expressing myself, me verbally talking. I'm not good at that. I tongue twist a lot. I slur my words. I make up words. It's one of those things. I've never been good. Anything that's up here coming out my mouth doesn't come out the way I'm trying to formulate it. I just can't, and my mind runs so fast that I can't, premeditate how it's going to come out. I mean, I'm not doing too horrible, am I? I feel I've gotten better. The retail world, I did retail management for 13 years, same company. And, it did force me to break out of my shell. It's one of those things that are make you or break you. Especially when you get into the general management position. You are front lines between the customer and the corporate office, and neither of them are friends. I mean, there's friendly people out, there's good people out there, but in retail, that's where you see a lot of horrible personalities. No ifs, ands, and buts, and any of you can argue that all you want. Go work retail. Go work retail as a cashier for a month. During the holidays, try that. Good luck. I had to get away from that. I mean, it's a make you or break you. It did both. It did both for me. I mean, it broke me out of my shell. It made me more social, more confident in speaking to people, and basically when I'm in my element. If I'm out of my element, I am a bumbling moron. I say stupid things. And nonsensibly stupid things. I mean, that it's not meant to come out the way it does. If that's just me with people in general. I meet people on the trail all the time and say stupid things. When I'm more in my element, I become more comfortable, but it's not always the case. But one thing that has always helped me, and besides, I chain smoke like fucking crazy. It's a bad habit. It's one I really need to quit. I mean, everybody needs to quit, but it's easier said than done. And I've done it before. I've gone to the vape pen also before. I pulled myself out of the dating game. I'm done with relationships. I just can't seem to find the right person out there for me, if there is even such a thing. And I would say it's mostly my fault. You know, I got a lot of mental illness, I guess you can call it. Just, I don't go to a doctor. I don't go to a shrink. I don't want any of that part of my life. I do not take pills. Fortunately, I smoke cigarettes. Every time I quit, I get into a relationship and or start dating, and next thing I know, I'm smoking tenfold because, you know, shit hits the fan. Always hits the fan. But I self-medicate. You know, I'm right now having some anxiety, and my thoughts are getting jumbled and having a harder time, you know, formulating sentences. And, you know, I start looking around more. It's getting darker, so it could be contributed, but, you know, I do self-medicate. So, you know, Colorado, it's legal. I don't do the whole doctor's note thing, you know, the medical shit. You know, let my taxes go to something good. Hopefully it's going to something good. If it's not, welcome to the fucking world we live in. That's just how it is. I mean, the poor stay poor. The rich get richer. You know, everything in between is just one big teeter-totter. I mean, middle class struggles as much as the lower class. It's lifestyles. I mean, a middle class can take their earnings and live the lifestyle of a lower class, and they would live like kings. But, you know, it's all, we take what we make and we live with it. I mean, it's all a materialistic world. Get your sticks and bricks, buy a lot of stuff to fill it. Things become cluttered. So then you get something larger, a bigger sticks and bricks. And in turn, end up filling that space. Until eventually you got so much shit piled up on you, it's just weight on your shoulders and stress. I mean, for someone like me, it's weight on your shoulders and stress. When you're year after year, you have to up and move from one apartment to the next because prices go up. Prices go up, pay stays the same. Okay, doesn't work. I'm sorry. People who say this economy is getting better are either in denial or blind, or really, you know, they're set in their life. People struggling, they struggle. They continue to struggle. You know, it's just how it is. There are people, I mean, there's going to be people who break that chain and come out of there and be like, oh, I did it, blah, 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 blah. Good for fucking you. Okay? Not all of us can do it. Not all of us make it. You know, and I know a lot of people who struggle. And when life throws those bumps in the road at you, it can become a nightmare real quick. You know, I've seen people's lives fall apart on the street, out of their vehicles. You know, they see themselves as homeless and they're victims, and they're going to stay that way. But see, this is my anxiety. I don't even remember what the original discussion I was talking about. I know it was anxiety, but the thought process, everything is just kind of moving everywhere. So this is just how I get through it. This is how I'm starting to get through it. This whole lifestyle is how I'm starting to get through it. You know, this is me. This is my comfort. This is where I feel alive. This is where this is just my life. This is what I love. And people out there, they don't get that. They try to discourage me, you know, at every turn. It's like, why? Why are you trying to discourage me? You know, I've never had that build up growing up in my life where it's like you are doing, awesome. I love what you're doing and I fully support you and blah, 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 blah. I don't know that very, very well. I'm starting to pick it up from people here and there, people who understand more about what I go through, the depression, the anxiety, the never getting ahead, the bumps in the road, the falling back, trying to pick those pieces up and make something of it. Those are the people who support me, and it's taken me up until I started the van life to find a lot of these people. Starting the van life, I did have a lot of, bullshit responses. I'm not gonna lie, some very hurtful responses towards it. It is what it is. Some people will agree with it, some people will not. And it's because they look at it. Well, if you're not doing it the way I'm doing it, you must be a bum. You know how many times I've heard, someone just living out of their vehicle, catching some shade in a hot day. Shade is an accommodation. I mean, that's something people fight for. You go to your Walmart or shopping center and you look how the patterns of how people park are. Shade is generally taken. So it's always a fight for shade. So you got people living out of their vehicles parked in the shade. They're sweaty, they're hot. Some may not have showered in a few days, It depends on the situation. Someone walking down the street, they look over into the parking lot and see the poor people. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth, and not some muttered under the breath, but yelling, "Get a job, you bum." Or, I've heard the names, I've heard how people deal with it, and luckily nobody said it to me because I'm not one who's going to hold my mouth, okay? I do have social anxiety, but things that I'm passionate about, especially things that anger me, the disrespect people show, that gets me going. And at those moments when I hear it, I have to really grab my seat and hold myself down from jumping out there and saying something. They say it to me, I may go to jail that night. It's one of those things. I will defend what people are going through. I mean, most people, it's like I said earlier, it is victim of circumstance. You see a gentleman living out of his pickup truck, out of a parking lot, out of a suitcase. 9 times out of 10, it's because he went through a divorce. His wife took everything. He kept his truck. It's just one of those things, or, a couple, falling back, on their bills. They can't catch up. They can't get the financial support. Waiting lists are too long. They lose their place to live. They throw all this shit into a storage, into their vehicle, or take the money and get something like a van. Minivans are popular. That's basically the stealth way to get by without drawing too much attention. You have a big white, blacked out or white out, cargo van is going to draw a lot more attention. You see somebody who's staying out of that, people think, oh, there's that creeper, the general stereotype. And That's another thing I'll talk about, sometime. Van dwellers and the rep they have as far as being creepers. And I get a lot of it could stem from, child kidnappings and stuff like that. But I will straight tell you right now, van dwellers are creepers. We are creepers. We have to be creepers. It's a safety concern. We want to drive around the lots, the streets, and we'll check out everything. The level surface, if there's going to be shade blocking the sunlight in the morning, if there's security, checking the signs for overnight parking, looking for other nomads, other dwellers, other homeless, looking for criminal activity, just general things we need to see. And we will circle a place several times, creeping through the lots, creeping down the streets. We're creepers, okay? That doesn't mean we are bad. It doesn't mean we're bad. We're concerned. Think about being homeless on the street. Are you going to want to go to, a shelter? Try that downtown Denver. Go to a shelter, sure. It's safer to sleep in an alleyway of a fucking suburb somewhere, So people don't do that. You see the mental illnesses, the real heavy mental illnesses, the drugs, the alcohol, the criminals, in those shelters. And that's not safe. That's not safe for a family of people trying to get their lives in order. So they don't do it. We make our homes out of, metal. Starting up the van. I keep saying I self-medicate, but when I get anxious, I also get distracted. I got the camera rolling. I'm distracted. I've been holding this damn thing for the past hour. I think I got 2 half-hour clips going on right now, plus a 10 minutes, so over an hour. My anxiety is starting to go up and slow me down. It did. Okay, I just had something happen here. Now, my phone's starting to pop up warnings. I think it just told me I have about 20 minutes left of record time. Something like that. Anyway, I may or may not piece some of this together and put it into a video for y'all to watch. I'm still working out through the social anxiety, working out through talking with the camera. This is all new to me. I don't sit here and do this. For the past few days, I have been trying. I've gotten some good insight from people about, what might help me, make it more interesting for other people to grasp. And this is, it may or may not be part of that. I do plan on doing kind of a bio on myself, a introductory to who I am, an actual YouTube video for my Nomadic Aspirations channel. Because most of what I have is just photography and video and a little bit of me talking here and there, during my hikes, which isn't a bad start. That's kind of what I want to do, but some people are starting to say it's a little bland. I'm new. I'm figuring this out. I'm going to get this. I'm going to succeed. Throw 1,000 bumps in the road. I've already taken 1,000 bumps. I'll take 1,000 more if you're going to dish them, but I will succeed. This is my life. Anyway. Grasslands. Sun is down. It's dark. Battery's charged. I'm gonna shut down for the night. You guys have a good one, and hope to see you maybe in the comments of my YouTube channel, maybe in the subscriptions, maybe in the likes. You know, help me out. Help me get out of here. Let me do this life. Let me do the documentation I want to do. You know, you guys are what makes it happen.